The stakes couldn't be higher. Imagine a world caught between the superpowers of the U.S. and China, forced to choose sides in an escalating rivalry. Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong has just delivered a chilling warning that should make us all sit up and take notice. Speaking at the National University of Singapore, Wong cautioned that this great power competition could take humanity to the very brink of disaster. A third world war. And here's the kicker. He's not exaggerating. Wong's comments come at a time when tensions between Washington and Beijing are simmering dangerously. Former U.S. President Donald Trump's return to the political stage, coupled with fresh threats against China, has rekindled fears of a new Cold War, or worse, a hot one. According to Wong, while neither the U.S. nor China may want war, their inability to cooperate could spell catastrophe for the rest of the world. For countries like Singapore, the stakes are existential. Wong was clear. Being forced into either a U.S. or China bloc would be a nightmare scenario, potentially igniting a chain reaction that spirals into full-blown global conflict. The idea of a fractured world, where nations are forced to pledge allegiance to one superpower or the other, would destabilize the delicate balance that has kept peace in the region for decades. But Wong's warning isn't just speculation. The geopolitical powder kegs are already in place, particularly in the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait. These hotspots, fraught with territorial disputes and military provocations, are prime areas for a catastrophic miscalculation. The South China Sea, Beijing claims nearly the entire region, building artificial islands and deploying military assets to assert dominance. This has led to sharp tensions with Southeast Asian nations like the Philippines and Vietnam. The U.S., meanwhile, frequently conducts freedom of navigation exercises to challenge China's claims, much to Beijing's anger. The Taiwan Strait. Taiwan remains a flashpoint, with China vowing to reunify the island by force if necessary. The U.S., while officially recognizing the One China policy, maintains strong ties with Taiwan and has sold the island billions of dollars in military equipment. One wrong move here could trigger a confrontation with global ramifications. Despite these tensions, Wong doesn't see a total decoupling between the U.S. and China as realistic, at least not yet. The two economies are too deeply intertwined. Consider this. Nearly everything we use daily, from smartphones to motherboards, relies on Chinese manufacturing. China is the only country capable of producing intricate goods at the scale and cost that global companies demand. Even the U.S. economy, with all its power, would suffer devastating consequences if it cut itself off from China. The numbers don't lie. China is Southeast Asia's largest trading partner, while the U.S. remains a vital security ally to many nations in the region. This delicate balancing act has kept the peace so far. But the growing rhetoric of confrontation, like Trump's threat of a new 10% tariff on Chinese goods, risks reigniting a trade war that could spiral out of control. And here's a sobering fact. There are no winners in a trade war. Chinese officials reiterated this just days ago, and history backs them up. Tariffs don't just hurt economies. They strain relationships, amplify mistrust, and push nations closer to conflict. Wong's speech is not just a warning, it's a plea. He emphasized the importance of countries like Singapore sticking to a policy of non-alignment, refusing to be drawn into the orbit of either superpower. This middle ground is the only way to prevent a devastating fracture in the global order. But here's the question for all of us. Can the U.S. and China step back from the brink? Can the rest of the world resist being pulled into their rivalry? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the U.S. and China can find common ground, or are we headed for a global showdown? The world is at a crossroads. The decisions made by leaders in Washington, Beijing, and beyond will shape the future of humanity. Will we choose cooperation over confrontation, or will we allow the sparks of rivalry to ignite a fire that consumes us all? This isn't just about politics, it's about survival. As global citizens, we all have a stake in this. The question is, how will the world respond to Singapore's dramatic warning? Will it be heeded or ignored? Only time will tell. And before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more deep dives into the most pressing issues of our time. Let's keep this conversation alive. Together, we can make a difference.